Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and hit the bell icon. 1923's Spencer Dutton reveal could explain the connection to Yellowstone's mysterious spin-off. 1923 revealed an unexpected facet of Spencer Dutton's Brandon Sklenar story that could explain how the Madison relates to the Yellowstone franchise's Dutton family. The Madison is Taylor Sheridan's next Yellowstone spin-off. It's a modern-day story taking place in present-day Montana. However, the Madison story will shift its focus away from the Dutton family tree and home in on the Clyburn family, led by Michelle Pfeiffer's Stacy Clyburn. With production and casting underway, the Madison might be the next Yellowstone spin-off we see after 1923's finale. The Prohibition-era Dutton saga wrapped up with a massive finish, including 1923 Season 2's finale's 5 major character deaths. One of the most significant and tragic deaths was Alex Dutton's Julia Schlapfer, with Spencer Dutton's wife dying from complications of hypothermia after delivering her baby John. 1923's finale also reveals what happened to Spencer after he lost his soulmate. Spencer's late sister, Elsa Dutton, Isabel May, says Spencer never remarried, but had another child with a widow. Spencer's unresolved development could certainly rear its head in Yellowstone's future. Spencer Dutton fathering a second child is big news for the Yellowstone franchise. In her narration at the end of 1923 Season 2, Elsa says the following about how her younger brother processed Alex Dutton's death. Spencer never remarried, took the comfort of a widow and made another boy, refused to marry her, and one day the widow was gone. So Spencer actually has 2 children, Alex's son, John, and another son by an unnamed woman. As with Elsa Dutton's other narrations in the Yellowstone franchise, this development is a prophecy of what's to come. 1923 left the identity of Spencer's mystery son unresolved. Elsa explained that Alex's memory never faded in Spencer's mind, implying she was all he thought of, even decades after her death, before flashing to Spencer and Alex's Titanic-style ending, where they reunite in their version of heaven. That said, Spencer's descendant could appear in another Yellowstone spin-off, potentially in the Madison. While there's a century between 1923 and the Madison, Spencer Dutton's descendant, emerging in Taylor Sheridan's next spin-off, would explain an inconsistency in the Yellowstone franchise. From what we understand, the Madison doesn't have a connection to Yellowstone, which has focused solely on the Dutton family and their endeavors through time. Taylor Sheridan's original Yellowstone series introduces John Dutton, Kevin Costner, and his children, who fight for the Yellowstone Dutton Ranch in the modern era, eventually selling it to the Broken Rock tribe. Sheridan's other Yellowstone shows act as prequels, setting up Kevin Costner's series, explaining how the Dutton family navigated America after the Civil War and World War I, witnessing their journey on the Oregon Trail in 1883 and into the Great Depression in 1923. It doesn't make sense that a franchise solely dedicated to the Dutton family would completely disconnect from their story. It's possible that Spencer Dutton's descendant will emerge in the Madison, tying the story back to the Dutton family. Sheridan could be shifting to focus on how life progressed for Spencer's other descendants. Now that Yellowstone Season 5, Part 2 has wrapped up the Dutton family's main story. Life would have been much different for a Dutton ancestor not benefiting from the family's stewardship of the largest contiguous ranch in the United States. The Madison can potentially explore that. While Spencer's family could also appear in Taylor Sheridan's teased Yellowstone prequel that would follow 1923-1944, the Madison is a better place for the reveal since it would tie Michelle Pfeiffer's show back to the Dutton family. If that's the case, the Madison could have already cast Spencer's estranged grandchild. While the full scope of the Madison's cast remains unclear, some supporting characters could relate to Spencer. That said, I don't suppose that Spencer's descendant will be part of Michelle Pfeiffer's Clyburn family, who would move to Montana from New York after the death of their patriarch. There are 3 male actors cast in various roles in the Madison that are tied to Montana, and I believe they are the most likely to relate to Spencer. Kevin Zegers will play Cade, Stacy's neighbor and the former caretaker of her new home in Montana. The Spinoff has also cast Los Matthew Fox as Paul, described as an outdoorsy, self-reliant man. Lastly, the Madison will include Ben Schnetzer as Van, a kind rancher and Stacy's neighbor. Any of these characters could be Spencer's long-lost descendant from 1923, enriching the Yellowstone franchise and tying the Madison to the Dutton family. The Yellowstone universe has always thrived on legacy. From the windswept plains of Montana to the battle-worn halls of the Dutton Ranch, Taylor Sheridan's sweeping saga has never been about just one man, it's about generations. And in 1923, one name has emerged from the shadow of that legacy, with enough grit, heartbreak, and heroism to rival John Dutton himself, Spencer Dutton. As 1923 plunges deeper into the chaos of a changing America, Spencer Dutton's journey feels less like a side story and more like a vital artery pulsing through the heart of the Dutton mythology. A decorated World War I veteran, a lion hunter, and a man haunted by ghosts both personal and ancestral, Spencer is the kind of flawed hero who might just hold the key to everything, including the mysterious new Yellowstone spinoff that has fans buzzing. Could Spencer Dutton be more than just a great uncle to John Dutton IE? Could he be the missing link between the old world and the modern-day Duttons? With rumors swirling about the upcoming Yellowstone sequel series, often referred to as 2024 or 2025, a deeper look at Spencer's story may reveal more than just his personal scars. It could rewrite the family's entire lineage. The war that shaped him and the land that called him home. We first meet Spencer in 1923 as a man adrift. The horrors of World War I have left him emotionally hollow, more comfortable stalking predators in the African wilds than confronting the echoes of home. But when tragedy strikes the family ranch, his brother John's murder, he is summoned back to Montana. His journey, both physical and emotional, becomes the spine of the show. It's not hard to see why Spencer's arc feels so central. He's a classic Western archetype, a broken man with a noble heart, and his return to the Dutton fold seems destined to shape the ranch's future. But what if his legacy goes further than we ever imagined? The Dutton family tree is notoriously tangled, from 1883 to 1923 to modern Yellowstone. Sheridan has offered just enough breadcrumbs to keep fans theorizing about who begat whom. Many assume John Dutton i.e., Kevin Costner's character, is descended from John Dutton Sr., Spencer's brother. But that theory is based on assumption, not evidence. In fact, the timeline offers a far more tantalizing possibility. What if Spencer Dutton is John Dutton i.e.'s grandfather? A hidden lineage and a mysterious heir. Let's look at the math. 1923 places Spencer in his late 20s or early 30s. That would make him the right age to father a child sometime in the late 1920s or early 1930s. Fast forward to Yellowstone, which kicks off in the 2010s, and John Dutton IEI is portrayed as being in his late 60s or early 70s. That timeline tracks neatly. If Spencer had a child in 1930, that child could plausibly be John's father. Why then has this connection remained a mystery? One possibility: the child was born under tragic or unusual circumstances. Spencer's whirlwind romance with Alexandra is one of the most gripping storylines in 1923. If their union resulted in a child, especially after they were separated, or if Spencer was presumed dead, it's not hard to imagine that child being raised with little knowledge of his father's identity. Alternatively, if Spencer and Alexandra return to Montana only for tragedy to strike, say, Spencer dies protecting the ranch or is disowned for some reason, his child might have been absorbed into the Dutton family, with the name but without the recognition. A child raised by another family member, a legacy obscured. That would create the perfect narrative springboard for Yellowstone's next chapter. Enter the spinoff, Legacy Reborn. With Yellowstone coming to a close and a new sequel on the horizon, rumored to star Matthew McConaughey or another A-list actor, Sheridan has a chance to dive deep into the roots of the Dutton family. This spinoff could explore not just the politics of modern ranching, but the buried secrets of Dutton history. Imagine a storyline where the protagonist discovers he's the great-grandchild of Spencer Dutton. Not John Sr., he inherits not just the ranch, but a legacy of war, sacrifice, and survival. A legacy that was hidden, maybe even erased, in order to protect the family's future. This spinoff could also explore a lost branch of the Dutton tree. What if Spencer's child didn't grow up in Montana, but returned decades later to claim their birthright? This could introduce a new Dutton heir, one who isn't weighed down by the same sins as John Iwe, but who carries Spencer's restless spirit and moral clarity. It's a way to honor the past without being bound by it. A way to move forward while finally explaining the inconsistencies in the Dutton bloodline. The weight of legacy. What makes Spencer so compelling isn't just his rugged charm or tortured past. It's the way he embodies the Dutton paradox. He's a man torn between violence and peace, duty and desire.